Regularly scheduled programming will not be seen tonight. Stay tuned for a Fox Sports special presentation. We're back. And remember, it's always sweeter the second time around. We've gassed up that blimp, and we're ready for the NFL on Fox. Last season, Steve and the Niners dug up this trophy with a little help from a plugged-in primetime. Now, in 1995, the caps are open, and the work has begun. With new faces and new teams. Today, Barry and the boys are back to stake their claim on a destiny that was once theirs. Meanwhile, Mr. Kelly's hoping to regain that magic touch. But, as Thurman and Bruce well know, it'll take more than magic to focus on the prize. Hey, if you can't stand the heat, turn on the air conditioning, then sit down and watch the NFL on Fox.
Do they love football in Canada? I would say so. A sellout crowd is on hand here at SkyDome for tonight's American Bowl as the Buffalo Bills take on the Dallas Cowboys. And hello, everyone from Toronto. I'm James Brown, and welcome to our second season of the NFL on Fox. And joining me, as always, my esteemed colleagues, Terry Bradshaw and Jimmy Johnson. I know you guys want to talk about your summer vacation. You did have a good break, though.
I did. I had a nice break. I'm working on my doctorate right now, JB. So I've been busy studying.
I love it. Where is your suite mate, Howie Long?
Well, you know, he's doing movie business out in Hollywood, and he'll be back on the set in L.A. next week.
Ready to roll him. Jimmy, you're on record as saying you think this is the most anticipated season in a long time. What do you expect this year?
JB, I really believe there's more excitement this year than we've had in a long time. And I think in the NFC, of course, you still got San Francisco and you got Dallas. They're still going to be strong. But I do believe that the gap's closing a little bit. The Giants are getting better. The Chicago Bears are getting better. And I think there's a lot of talent in Philadelphia right now.
What about Green Bay? And what about New Orleans and Monty Kiffin down their new defensive coordinator? They've gone to the 4-3. Hey, you got to pull for the underdogs, and I think the Saints are going to really surprise some folks this year. Best offense Moore's ever had. Homeboy.
Jim Moore has him under tow again. Well, folks, we'll be hearing a lot more from these guys as we come up to you on halftime. As a matter of fact, speaking of halftime, we'll also hear from the newest member of the Fox Sports team, Pam Oliver, who is in Oakland, where the Raiders played their first game back in the Bay. They were successful tonight. But right now, it is time for the game. Folks, it'll be the Bills and the Cowboys, and we take you up to the guys who will be kicking off their 15th season as a broadcast team, the esteemed Pat Summerall and John Madden.
All right, JB, thank you very much. 15 years, it doesn't seem possible. They've been great years.
I'll tell you, it's been 15 great years, 15 exciting years, and I can't wait to get this 15 started.
You know, we've talked about it as you travel across the country by bus and I fly around. I can't remember a level of excitement like there is this year about pro football.
Well, the anticipation, you know, you talk to players, to coaches, to fans everywhere. They can't wait for football season to get started. And in all my years in the NFL, I don't ever remember it like this.
I don't either. And these are two of the elite teams in pro football. Let's talk first about the Dallas Cowboys, who finished losing to the 49ers last year in the NFC Championship game. A year of disappointment for them last year. Now they've come back with a sense of resolve I think I haven't seen in a long time.
And I think it's real. I think, you know, a year ago, Barry Switzer was coming in as a new head coach. They had run 2 straight Super Bowls, and I think they were saying the right things, but I don't know that they were doing all the right things. This year, when you watch them and you talk to them, you get the feeling that they're doing the right things. Troy Aikman, I've never seen him more ready than he is right now. He's 20 pounds, as we look at him here, he's 20 pounds less than he was a year ago when he came to camp. And he said he feels better about football and better about his team and throwing now than he ever had. I was talking to Wade Wilson, his backup, yesterday, and he said, you know, he's been in the league 15 years, and he said the biggest thing about the Cowboys that he sees is that the stars are the hardest working guys, and they're led by the guy on the left there, Michael Irvin. The hardest worker on the team, Emmitt Smith on the right, said he has learned more this offseason about how to work and how to work hard from Michael Irvin than any time in his life.
Now, John, the Buffalo Bills have been one of the elite teams in recent years. Last year was a very disappointing year for them. They didn't make the playoffs. They had their first losing season ever under Marv Levy. they've got to rebuild. How do they go about it?
Well, I think the first thing that they need is a healthy Jim Kelly and a healthy Thurman Thomas. And we were talking to Jim Kelly yesterday, and he had his first off-season surgery this year. His left knee was operated on. It's the first time he's ever had any surgery at all, and he's playing for the first time tonight. And he says that he would just like to get through about a quarter because he hasn't had a pass rush. He hasn't had anyone around his leg. He wants to get through that test tonight. But, you know, when you talk about the Buffalo Bills, it seems like for the first time in a long time, the thing they're really excited about is their defense. They hired Wade Phillips as their defensive coordinator, so he's coming in. They're going to be more aggressive. I think we're going to see more blitzing. They brought in Bryce Popp from the Green Bay Packers. He's going to be one of those pass rushers. They brought in the other side, Jim Jeffcoat from the Dallas Cowboys. And for the first time in a long time that I can remember, the Buffalo Bills are talking about defense.
Well, we'll have the first look on offense at the Dallas Cowboys. Troy Aikman and the Cowboys starting offensive unit were telling us yesterday that they would play a series, perhaps two, maybe the first quarter. They've won the toss. They will receive from Steve Christie, who will kick off for Buffalo. The SkyDome in Toronto. A sellout crowd. Short kick by Christie. It's going to be Ed Hervey. Hervey with some room, and he's got great speed. The Dallas offense led by Aikman. As John Madden said a moment ago, weighed this year and weighs now 218. A couple of years ago, he was 20 pounds heavier than that. In front of him, Larry Allen, Ron Stone, Ray Donaldson, Nate Newton, and Mark Tuinei. Big, good offensive line. Novacek, Irvin, Kevin Williams, Darrell Johnson, and Emmitt Smith. Smith is deep behind the Moose. Emmitt Smith to the 40. Here is that remade, rebuilt Buffalo defense. Patton, Ted Washington, newly acquired. Phil Hansen will start up front. Cornelius Bennett and Bryce Popp from Green Bay, the outside linebackers. Maddox and Perry in the middle. The secondary, Thomas Smith, Darby, Jones, and Burris. 2nd and 7. Emmitt Smith got 3 on his first carry. He again is deep. Smith, first down. Popp made the stop.
I'll tell you, it's a preseason game, but look at Emmitt Smith. He's fired up. He gets 2 carries in a row. Ernie Zampese said yesterday that on this first drive, the Cowboys want to work on their running game a little. That time, big Nate Newton, number 61, pulled. Emmitt Smith started in behind him and left him and still picked up the first down.
You were talking earlier about the leadership of Aikman, Smith, and Michael Irvin. Nate Newton is one of those leaders as well. Every group has a leader. Smith again.
And he ran right in behind Nate Newton that time. You know, another player that the Cowboys are really impressed with is Ray Donaldson. You got him in the offseason, 16-year veteran. He's playing center now, taking Mark Stepnoski's place. They thought that that was going to be a big loss, but Ray Donaldson, you know, is a great player in his own right. In fact, he's been in the Pro Bowl for 4 times.
Smith got 6. Make it 2nd and 4. Smith behind the pull of Ron Stone. You know, talking to Eric Williams yesterday, and he is almost ready to try it. And if he comes back and is effective, that will be one of the best offensive lines ever put together.
And Eric Williams was saying yesterday, there's Eric Williams right there, who I think is the best offensive lineman in all of football. He's going to start practicing next week, and he expects to start the opening game. There was a lot of people thought that he wouldn't be back, if at all, until halfway through the season.
3rd and 2, and Emmitt Smith back by himself. Aikman gives again to Smith. Made one man miss, got the first down.
Now that was a Barry Sanders move. When you can start and you have to run full speed, I mean, you just can't go half speed and then stop and then go start again. That is something. Watch it here. He's going to come up here to the left side. He's going to stop right there, bounce out, just take a little jump to the left, then take it out to the left, then up the field. I'll tell you, for my money, this guy is the best running back in football. You know, when you take everything, the catching, the running, the blocking, and everything.
Aikman to throw it from behind. Taken down by Cornelius Bennett. One of the best at that.
That's one thing that they're going to do is they're going to blitz more, and Cornelius Bennett is going to be one of those guys that's going to be blitzing. You see here, 97. Wait until they get Bruce Smith on that side. Here's Cornelius Bennett. He's working against Mark Tuinei. He just bull rushes him. He goes boom, and he goes right into him, then right on beyond him. Watch him. He's the outside guy into Tuinei. Bull rush, get him straightened up, and then just run right around him for the sack.
And Aikman never saw him coming. Back to throw again is Troy Aikman. Wheels it outside to Darrell Johnston. Stopped by Jeffrey Burris.
Troy was telling us that Moose Johnston is another guy that has lost weight in the offseason. In fact, he says now they're calling him Moose Light. He doesn't look like a big old moose, does he? But I think, as we were talking earlier, these Cowboys have really rededicated themselves. I think that championship loss and the 2 losses to the San Francisco 49ers are something that hasn't gone away from them.
Well, that really stung them. 3rd and 15. Aikman back again. Has some time. Irvin, the intended receiver, is not there. Thomas Smith, the defender. Aikman again took a shot. And he hasn't taken many of those this year so far. This is their 3rd preseason game.
And you don't want that. You don't want that in preseason. You don't want that anywhere. We say the Buffalo Bills are a 3-man line, but on passing downs, they go to a 4-man line. That was just too much rush right there and good coverage.
John Jett back to punt for Dallas. Fumble, and Bill Bates was around the ball. I didn't see who was there first.
I'd bet on Bill Bates.
Bates is at the bottom of that pile.
They're still fighting down there. When you get a pile like that, it can change hands 3 or 4 times, but I don't think that one did. I think Bill Bates, number 40, had it the whole time. I think Bates got it on his person and didn't let it leave his person. It just goes right through. He's watching everything. Now watch number 40, Bates. He just comes in a slide, and he gets it right there. He had it from the get-go.
Bounced off Ken Irvin. And Bates. It seems like we've been talking about working together for 15 years. I think Bates has been there every one of those years.
Hey, Michael Irvin must have taken a shot on that 3rd down incomplete pass.
1st and 10, Emmitt Smith again. Smith behind Johnston. Down to about the 17. Maddox made the stop.
You know, one thing that we're seeing are the 2 best special teams players, Pat, I think, that have ever played. Bill Bates had just made that interception. He was the first player to ever be chosen to play in the Pro Bowl. And then Steve Tasker, number 89 in the Buffalo Bills, he's been a Pro Bowler 6 times.
An MVP in the Pro Bowl once.
Now that is something.
Yeah. 9:38 left to play in the 1st quarter. At the SkyDome in Toronto, this is Darrell Johnston. Straight ahead. Down to about the 11. Close to a 1st down. Henry Jones to stop.
This was a thing that the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, Ernie Zampese, said that they wanted to work on, that he felt that his passing game was pretty good, and he didn't like his running game this whole preseason, and they wanted to work on it, at least this 1st quarter.
That's Henry Jones who's being attended to. 9:14 left to play in the 1st quarter. No score, but Dallas down at the door.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by Coors Light. Shipped cold to preserve the clean taste of the Rockies. Coors Light. Tap the Rockies. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Speed Stick by Menon. Like you, it never quits. And by Levi's Jeans. We put more than denim in every pair.
Back in Toronto, Canada, at the SkyDome, the American Bowl of 1995. Dallas and Buffalo. Michael Irvin over on the sideline.
Looks like he broke his nose, Pat. They've been working on that thing for quite a while.
That's Henry Jones, who was down when we went away a minute ago. Let's go back and see what happened. See if we can see what happened.
You can see it's on the left-hand side of the screen. You're going to see his own man hit him.
That's Matt Darby, who comes in and gets underneath the pads and hit Henry Jones. First down, Dallas, just outside the 10-yard line, about the 11.5. Marv Levy, who always gives that gum a workout.
Yeah, Marv has I think he has a new headset this year. It looks like that earpiece is a little bigger.
He has a way of making himself heard. First and 10, Dallas at the 11. Aikman back to Emmett Smith. Got a good block in front. Smith down to the 5 and a flag on the play. Penalty marker down at about the 5.
Hey, did you see that lead block? Daryl Johnston went out there and hit Kurt Scholes, the strong safety, or the strong safety hit Daryl Johnston. Well, that was one heck of a collision.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
And this is a big building.
Yeah.
Illegal block in the back.
Larry
Number 53
Nimmers.
Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
Kurt Scholes had just come in for Henry Johnson. Henry Jones had just watched him at the right end of the screen. There goes Daryl Johnston. Watch right here. Boom! That was a heck of a collision. I think Johnston went to unload, and he got unloaded upon.
He had the trigger cocked, but the other guy pulled it first.
And that was Kurt Scholes' first play in there because he was the guy that replaced Henry Jones, the injured player.
First and 20 after the penalty. Again, it's Emmitt Smith. Emmett got a yard, perhaps, stopped by Bryce Popp and James Patton.
Yeah, you're looking at that from the end zone. You could see that there was no hole there. You know, the running back was looking for a hole. They didn't get any movement at all. And just watch it from this thing. You see, this is good defense here. Everyone takes a gap. You see right there, there's no place. Emmitt Smith tries to come up to the left, and he tries to cut to the right, then go back to the left, and there was nothing left, there was nothing right, and there was nothing left when he went back there again.
Ted Washington did a good job. If the nose tackle can get a stalemate with two people like he did then, that's a good job.
You can't run the ball.
Thomas Smith. Marlo Perry made the stop. Michael Irvin just a little bit woozy. That was Corey Fleming who made the reception.
Yeah, he's saying he's all right. You see, he can smell that end zone. And a third down, this is a passing down, and Michael Irvin would like to be in there. See, he's trying to get in.
A little bit more difficult to smell it. in that kind of shape.
He can't smell it on the left side. He can take a big whiff out of the right side.
3rd and 8. Passing down for Aikman. Aikman outside. Intended. Knocked down by Smith.
Hey, that's one thing Buffalo has.
Corey Fleming.
Two good young corners. Thomas Smith, who you saw there, was a #1 draft choice 3 years ago, and the other side is Jeff Burris, who was a #1 draft choice 2 years ago. So their two starting cornerbacks are #1 draft choices in their second and third year, and that's what you need in this league. Two good cover corners.
This is John Baker to attempt the field goal of 28 yards with Novacek holding. A barefoot kicker with plenty of leg, but not a good aimer. It's not good. 0-0 with 7:03 left first quarter. At the American Bowl of 1995, Dallas 0, Buffalo 0. The Cowboys just missed a field goal. And so Buffalo and Jim Kelly will get their first chance on offense. Thurman Thomas, of course, in the backfield with him, and Carwell Gardner alongside. Kelly, his first action of the year. From the 20. For a bunch. And incomplete. Kelly fired incomplete to Andre Reed. Kevin Smith back there with him. Let's look at the Buffalo offense led by Jim Kelly. His 10th year. In front of him, Fina, Ostrowski, Kent Hall, the veteran Corbin Lucina, and Glenn Parker. Thurman Thomas and Gardner the runners. Bill Brooks, Andre Reed wide. Lonnie Johnson trying to take Pete Metzelar's place at tight end. 2nd and 10. Kelly fell down on the retreat from center. Still got the ball. Leon Lett made the stop. His first action. The big cat. Here is the front four. Shante Carver, Charles Haley didn't make the trip. Leon Lett, Russell Maryland, and Tony Tolbert. The linebackers, Godfrey Miles, Robert Jones, and Dixon Edwards. And the secondary, Brown and Smith, the corners, Brock Marion and Darren Woodson, the safety men. 3rd and 7. Kelly from the shotgun. High flag on the play. Brown, the defender. Pass intended for Damon Thomas.
Illegal, Chuck. Number 38, defense. 5 yards, automatic first down.
38 is David Lang.
Hey, because the Cowboys were in their 7 defensive back mode, so that's why he was in there. They had all the defensive backs, Bates and Lang, and Woodson is up there as a linebacker. And of course, the Buffalo Bills on long yardage still get in the shotgun. In fact, they call it the K gun after Jim Kelly, the Kelly gun, and that's Kelly's favorite thing. He said he feels comfortable in shotgun because he can get back there and have room to step up.
He's got 1st and 10. Kelly to Gardner. The ball carrier. More of him carrying the ball this year.
I think more of him just playing. You know, that they're going to a 2-back offense. They've been a lot of 1-back, 3 wide receivers. They ran a lot of hurry up and no huddle, and they're going to get away from that and get back to huddling up most of the time to a 2-back offense. And you know, that's what Dallas is and the 49ers are, and they're the 2 top teams in football.
And people copy those top teams. That's Thurman Thomas. Hit from behind again by Leon Lett, who led the defensive charge.
He's a tough guy. Here's Leon Lett, and they call him Big Cat, and he's so big and his arms are so long that he can be blocked or go around a block and still come and make a tackle. I mean, he went inside the guard, between the center and the guard. The play was going outside, and he ran right around that block and came right down the line and made the scrimmage. Made the tackle.
He has just scratched the surface. He doesn't know how good he can be.
He weighs 290 pounds. They said they're giving him an extra 5 this year. They're letting him be 295. He's not up there yet.
Kelly to Johnson. Not nearly enough for a first down. Greg Trimble on the stop as Dallas again put in the extra defensive players.
And Marv Levy says, saying, how in the heck can we do that? Be 3rd down and need 3 or 4 yards and throw a pass for none yards.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No, Jim Kelly, a 10-year veteran, he's probably scratching his head once he gets his helmet off.
For the kick, hang time they call him. Jeff Thomas. Flag on the play. One at the line of scrimmage, one about 20 yards downfield. Larry Nimmers again is the referee.
Holding on the receiving team. It's a post-possession foul. The penalty will be enforced. The spot of the catch. First down, Dallas.
First down, Dallas. Emmitt Smith back out. So is Aikman. So he'll get his wish. He wanted a couple of series. Looks like he'll get them.
Here's what happens when you're one of the best special teams guys in football. Here's Steve Tasker. What they do is they just grab them, hold them, pick them up, and throw it down. Now, the officials blew this one because they called it a penalty. Watch the flag come out right there. Now, he throws the flag, so that should have been the penalty against the Cowboys there. They said it was a post-possession hold. So there had to be another hold, but you saw that flag was way before the Cowboys got possession of the ball.
And you saw the flag come out. Well, the ball was still in the air, or not yet in the air. Barry Switzer and Hubbard Alexander.
See what they did to Tasker, though? They just threw him down. They don't care. They didn't even try him.
And that's Smith again to about the 19. Pickup of 4.
They're always talking about Emmitt Smith and his hamstrings and what he's going to do for him, and he really doesn't like to talk about that. He doesn't like to talk about any kind of injuries, his shoulders or hamstrings or whatever. But, you know, one thing he is doing, he's drinking a lot more water, he said, than he ever has. He's drinking as much as he can. You know, he said some guy told him that you have to keep that engine cool, and I think that's the part. He was getting dehydrated.
Aikman gets it out to Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt gets out of bounds after the first down.
Emmitt wasn't going to pull a hamstring on that play, was he? Remember in the 49er game, it was on a play like that. It was going down the sideline where he did pull a hamstring.
And he just kept right on going to the bench.
And that one there, he says, no, this is preseason. You know what I'm doing? I caught the ball. I got a first down. Let's just leave well enough alone.
First and 10, Dallas at their own 26. Again, it's Emmitt Smith. He wanted some work. He's getting it. Maybe 3 yards. Perry made the stop.
Well, I know one guy that wanted to work is big Nate Newton, because one thing, you look at these offensive linemen here, and here's Nate here, but the offensive linemen love to run the ball, and they would like to run the ball every play they can. You see Nate, he starts off in a double team, then he comes up in the linebackers. Those guys just want to fire out on that defense. Just watch him here. You see how you start off in a double team, he helps the center, then he comes in the guard, trying to get a soft spot for Emmitt Smith to come back into.
Second down and 8. Aikman to Emmitt Smith. Not much doing.
There's one of those passes.
Excuse me.
I was just going to say, there's one of those passes for none yards.
Yep.
You know, it seems like that's one of the things that's happened to football today is they're shortening the passing game down, and sometimes it gets so short they don't even get it back to the line of scrimmage.
And that brings up the old question, why throw it at all?
Yeah, well, they want to get rid of it quickly so they don't take the sack, but sometimes you have to stand there and hold it and throw it down the field.
We'll come up the field now. To Williams, Kevin Williams from Aikman, and enough for a first down.
Whereas Kevin Williams, the guy who's taking Alvin Harper's spot, you just watch him here. He's in a slot, and he's just going to run a slant. He's just going to come up and then kind of hit his defensive back, get by him, and Troy Aikman hits him perfectly. There's no one that throws that pass better. I think Joe Montana probably threw it better than anyone, and Troy Aikman right now throws it as well as anyone.
First and 10. No score yet. Aikman back to throw it. Going deep, and he's got somebody. Kevin Williams. That's the way they want to use Kevin Williams, in the slot and to go deep. He's got the speed, not the leaping ability that Alvin Harper had, but more speed.
Yeah, if he's going to beat someone deep, he's going to beat them with their speed and get beyond them, and then they're going to throw the ball to him, whereas Alvin Harper, you would just throw it up. You see, Last year, Kevin Williams caught 33 catches. Well, that was his whole career, 332 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alvin Harper caught 33 passes. So they expect Kevin Williams to get around those 30, 35 passes and some slants and then some deep ones like we just saw.
Emmitt Smith. Nobody picks the hole better than Emmitt does, or finds it and then does something with it.
Because he has a combination of patience and power. You know, he can wait for something to develop, and then when he sees it develop, hit it powerfully.
And he gets in the hole so quickly and then can make the adjustment.
You know, we're going to see later, we're going to see the rookie Sherman Williams, and that's one of the problems that he's having right now. He's going to be a good running back, but he doesn't have that patience, and you can't hit him with the power that Emmitt Smith does. Well, no one does.
Emmitt has 10 carries. Somebody in the Dallas offensive line moved too soon. I think it was Nate Newton.
Full start, 61 offense prior to the snap. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
You know, Pat, in this dome here, you can have the dome on or you can have it off. I mean, you can have it like now we're playing indoors, and then later they're going to play it outdoors. There's a story in the paper that says that the network controls it.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't. So I asked the network, I said, do we control it? Look, it says TV reigns in bowl clash. Fox wants roof closed for kickoff and then open. Whatever TV wants, TV gets. So I figured if we're going to get blamed for it, we may as well control it.
Aikman back to throw it. Up in the pocket to Kevin Williams. And he'll have a 1st down, Dallas, in Buffalo territory. Stopped by Darby. Good catch, good throw. Nothing. End of 1st.
I'm going to push it, and now the thing's going to open. Takes a little delay, I think.
I think it takes about 20 minutes.
No. It takes 20 minutes to open all the way. It's starting to open right now.
And they put you in command.
No, they didn't. I just took command. If they said that we have control of it, I just took control. That thing's opening up now. We got a story here.
Yeah.
We were playing indoors. We're going to be playing outdoors.
You're starting to like all that power.
I know. I'm going to stay down here and control everything. I may close it again if I don't like it.
I'll see you sometime.
I'll be back.
Don't come through the roof. That's awesome, the power that man has. You thought he was important when he was a coach. Now he's in charge of the arena. Start of the 2nd quarter as that roof is opening. It again takes about 20 minutes. 22 minutes to be exact to open it. 1st and 10 at the 43. Emmitt Smith dragged down by Perry. Emmitt had been saying he wanted more work, and tonight he's getting his wish. Troy Aikman had said he wanted to play longer, wanted to play more. He's getting his wish.
Well, we're playing this game outdoors now, Pat. I never did like dome stadiums.
How'd you get back?
I just ran up the stairs, but this thing's opening up pretty good.
Yeah.
Games should be played. I mean, when they made football, they made it to play outdoors, not with a roof on it.
Timeout.
Well, I'm glad you took care of that.
Completely under control.
Timeout. Nothing. There are some truly amazing sights. Look what you can see when you open the roof. The Space Needle.
Yeah, and anyone that happens to be above can look in and watch the game. I mean, before we opened this thing, those people couldn't see. If there's anyone up in the Needle now, they can look down and watch what's going on down here.
Somebody told me you wanted to go up in that Needle.
No. I'll take control, open the roof. I'm not going up in no Needle. You know, that's the biggest building in the world, biggest freestanding building in the world.
Tallest.
Tallest, yeah. Big old tall building.
Here's Aikman back to throw. Pass is complete to Corey Fleming.
You know, one thing that Troy Aikman does so well is get back, plant that foot, and get rid of the ball. And I think that his arm is so strong and so accurate that he just puts it right up there by his ear and throws that thing. Talking about his ears, he said when he lost weight in his face and his ears got bigger, and they call him ears now.
Here's Darrell Johnson straight ahead. He's wearing a new face mask also this year.
Yeah, he said he's going for the whole thing. He's going for a longer face mask, 2 knee braces, and high-top shoe. Going for complete protection. And he worries, and now he has that receiver in his helmet, so he only has 1 bladder in his helmet. He used to have a double bladder. Remember last year he didn't use that thing where they could talk to him. Now he has a single bladder. They can use it, and Jason Garrett is the person who talks in his helmet.
That face mask comes down so it protects his chin a little bit more. Fumble on the exchange. Donaldson and Aikman. I think the Bills came up with the fumble. Maddox came up with the ball. Kelly will get his shot. Now Jim Kelly's got on a few pads too. You saw the rib pads, the flak jacket, braces on both knees.
Yeah, Kelly's always worn braces on both knees. Kelly is not one of those mobile quarterbacks. I mean, he kind of stays around that pocket, gets to getting a shotgun a lot, and over the years he's taken a lot of shots. And it's surprising to me that he's only had 1 surgery, and that was this past off season on his left knee.
And he said, honestly, I think the left one, the one that was operated on, feels better than the other one now. By Nate Turner.
Yeah, they should have. He should have stayed there with big old Glenn Parker. Did you see the big old right tackle pulling? That was that counter tray. He had his guard and tackle pulling. It looked like, you see the guard pull here, the tackle pull here. It looks like if he would have stayed with Parker out there, he would have had something. He gets in behind, and he leaves Parker and gets here on this guard sooner. Watch him now. See big old Parker go out there. If he would have just stayed out there with Parker, I think he would have gained some more yardage.
I think he might have. In the meantime, he tries again and gets very little. Leon Lett again on the tackle.
That's one area that the Buffalo Bills are concerned with, is that offensive line, hoping that'll come together. Their number 1 draft choice, we haven't seen him yet today, is Reuben Brown. And I would think that he'll be a starting guard for that unit, and that's an area that they want to improve. Of course, the tight end is the thing that they need, and they need another speed receiver or a speed receiver.
Reuben Brown's big enough to get it done. Here's Kelly back to throw on 3rd and 6. Batted down. Tony Tolbert's number 92, beg your pardon.
Anytime you get big guys like Leon Lett in the middle and Shante Carver taking a stunt, it's Shante Carver who knocks it down. But anytime you get that thing, then that middle seems to give a little. And then once that middle gives a little, it gives her right into the quarterback. That time Leon Lett went to the outside. Shante Carver came to the inside and knocked it down.
Chris Moore back to punt. Gadsden back deep for Dallas. Orlando Gadsden got away from 1, got away from 2, got away from 3, not 4. Gardner down to make the stop. 40-yard punt, lost 5 on the return. No score.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. By Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, nachos, and a whole lot more. By DirecTV, it's personalized TV. And by the Gatorade Company. If you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Daria is the center.
Left Nate Newton in there, one of the few real veterans. You know, guys have played double-digit years. One of the few guys in there. Nate's one of those throwback kind of guys that may have to play himself into a little shape. I mean, Nate doesn't come in lean and trim and muscular and all those things. He got to maybe play a little more than the other guys to get in shape, the way they used to in the old days.
Larry Allen also still playing. Wilson intended for Fleming. Fleming also in the battle to replace Harper. Aikman 7 out of 10 for 60 yards, and for the first time he didn't get him on the scoreboard in the first offensive series.
I don't think of course Michael Irvin being out of there, I think that hurt. You know, one of the things they're going to do this year is try and get the ball to Michael Irvin more, move him around and do those kind of things. Then when he went out, I think that kind of threw Aikman off a little.
On second down, this is Sherman Williams.
You see, Sherman Williams just doesn't, I mean, you don't expect a rookie to hit that hole the way Emmitt Smith does, but you can just see the way he runs the ball after an Emmitt Smith comes out that he just doesn't have that same confidence. I mean, he's coming up there and trying to figure out what's going on his way to the line.
That just comes with doing it a few times.
Yeah, and then, you know, behind this offensive line, and you know, they only have like 3 or 4 runs, so you just need the repetition.
Here's Wade Wilson back to throw. Fires down the middle, complete to Corey Fleming. Kevin Williams, I beg your pardon. They keep saying this guy's not big enough, he's not tall enough, he can't do the job, but he keeps doing the job.
Yeah, Wade Wilson says he loves this offense. He said it's all time, and he says it doesn't make any difference who's in there. He said you just get back there and let it go, and that's what he did. In fact, he let it go just in time, didn't he? Watch Kevin Williams here. I don't even know if Wade Wilson saw him. I don't know if he'd see him if he was 6'5". He just threw to a spot. He read the defense, threw to a spot, because as he threw that ball, he was getting knocked down anyway.
That's exactly right. Sherman Williams. He has all the ingredients of being the first capable backup the Cowboys have had in a long time since Emmitt Smith's been there.
Well, you wonder what a capable backup would do, because if it's a tight situation and Emmitt Smith is healthy and the Cowboys need to play, Emmitt Smith is going to be in there.
Doesn't make any difference how capable the backup is.
Yeah, that's right. And if it's a mop-up situation, Emmitt Smith isn't going to be in there, and you don't care how capable the backup guy is unless he fumbles a lot.
Dallas seems like they've had the ball the whole time. And obviously they have a terrific advantage in the amount of yards gained. 2nd and 5. Williams deep. And he gets the handoff. Breaks the tackle. Down inside the 45. Stopped by Perry and Evans. There's Emmitt Smith. That would indicate he's through for the evening.
Well, you know, he got that short sleeve deal now, and he said one of the things that he likes about working out the way he has, as he just kills a fly right there, is that he's looking good.
If you hadn't opened the roof, he wouldn't be killing those bugs.
I know it, because they come in through the roof. We needed some bugs and stuff in here. But Emmitt says since he's been lifting weights, he said people say, hey, you really look good. And he said he likes that. And part of liking that is wearing that kind of shirt when you get out of a game.
I like people to tell me I look good, he said.
Yeah.
Wilson, incomplete. Intended for John Davis. And Dallas has had the ball the whole time almost.
Cornelius Bennett, he's expected to have a big year this year. You know, by bringing in Bryce Pop, they're going to put Pop on the tight end side, so Cornelius Bennett can play on the open end side and usually be on the same side with Bruce Smith. Now that's going to be a tough pass rush.
High kick. The Bills let it bounce. The Cowboys down it at about the 10. There's Michael Irvin. 0-0. If you're a winner. Strom is the Buffalo quarterback now, number 11, Rick Strom. Been in the league for 7 years, mostly as a backup. Derek Holmes, who's looked good so far in preseason for the Bills, Gets the first carry, and there's nothing there.
You know, and that's where the quarterback fight on this team is. You know, Jim Kelly's going to be the starting quarterback, and either Rick Strom or Alex Van Pelt is going to be the backup quarterback. You see here, they just, you know, take off here. Now, Holmes has really been a pleasant surprise. He was a 7th-round draft choice out of Portland State, and, you know, he's been one of the biggest surprises in this Buffalo Bill camp.
Russell Maryland and Chad Hennings, the 2 defensive tackles now. Still the starting defensive line except for Haley. Pass complete. Strong to Brooks. Bill Brooks.
This is a big thing for Rick Strom. As I was saying, that, you know, Jim Kelly is going to be the quarterback. I mean, everyone knows that. Todd Collins is the young drafted quarterback that is they're going to keep him. He's made the team. So now you got 2 other guys. It's going to be Rick Strom or Alex Van Pelt, who you see standing there on the sideline. That's really going to be the backup to Jim Kelly.
3rd and 3, unless they go somewhere else. Here's Strom back to throw it. Has the first down on the completion to his tight end, or to Nate Turner coming out of the backfield. Beg your pardon.
I'm wondering when he's going to throw one to his tight end that's in there now, because that's Tony Klein.
You coached his father.
There's a rookie out of Stanford, number 88 there. And I coached Tony Klein, but the Tony Klein that I coached was his dad, Tony Klein.
That's a rude awakening.
He's really a good kid.
Scratch golfer at one time. Derek Holmes again, the carrier.
Yeah, one thing that he's always been, as we watch Tony Klein here, he's always been a pretty good blocker. At Stanford, he was a pretty good blocker and then became a receiver. And one thing I know about, you know, just knowing his dad and knowing Tony Klein, he's going to be a tough guy. I mean, he's not...
He better be.
Things like that happen to rookies. They start to block, and the first thing that hits the ground is the back of their head. He'll learn to stay with his block. So stay with your blocks. Drive your feet. Keep your hips down. Don't stand up.
Timeout, White.
And you told his dad that.
I used to tell his dad that. He's not going to listen to me.
Still nothing. 5:57 left to play in the first half. Well, you got the roof all the way open now.
I know it. I thought the scoring would pick up or something. I mean, the only thing that's happened since we opened the roof is we let some flies in.
Let some buy. You sure it was flies? Could have been mosquitoes.
Well, just some bugs. I mean, they were out there wanting to get in, and now we can see that big old tall building. But the play hasn't really changed.
No.
Still no score.
2nd and 9. Strom back to throw it. Incomplete.
Yeah, they're sold out here in Toronto, and these Canadian fans are coming here wanting to see this NFL wide open football. And you know, in their league, you know, in Canadian football, they have a wider field, a longer field. They only have 3 downs, and here we're almost got a half here, and they haven't seen a score yet.
Hey, Tagliabue, the commissioner, of course, not a bad igloo. It's not. Great plays.
And then, but it's not an igloo when you take the top off of it.
3rd down. Buried by the rush is Strom. Not a blitz. By Leon Letts. I think the big cat's ready.
Well, he is, you know, and he is so big and so tall. When he gets a pass rush and gets movement, he can just take the pocket back. And you see how he gets the pocket going back, and then he just splits 2 guys, and he just has one thing. He has that number 11 he sees in his sight, and it just, boom, he goes right at it.
Moore back to kick. Kicks it very high. In fact, his nickname is Hang Time. Back for Dallas. The Cowboys let it bounce, and it rolls dead. It was Jeff Thomas that let it go by. It's going to roll dead about the 1-yard line.
Still hasn't rolled dead.
I know it. That is one heck of a punt. Hang time and roll time. 85 yards on the kick from Moore.
I'm Pam Oliver, and I'll have the story of the Raiders' first game back in Oakland. You'll also hear from James Brown, Terry Bradshaw, and Jimmy Johnson coming up at halftime.
And we got the whole crew here in Toronto. Terry and JB and Jimmy down on the sideline. This is it, big.
Yep, you can't beat that. The Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, Toronto. Game started with a roof on it, and it didn't have a roof on it. People are dancing, singing, eating. You can't beat that. Well, tell it that we need some scoring.
Yeah.
We got dancing, eating, a little scoring going on here would help.
Wade Wilson way back at the 1-yard line, hands off to Sherman Williams, who gets out to about the 3. David Lang's the fullback in front of him. Cowboys got him from the Rams. Something special on special teams. Troy Aikman has had more than his what seems normal one series of work. Played the entire first quarter.
You know, this was a great punt that put the Cowboys in bad position and the Bills in very good position. But I'll tell you, it's a good position to evaluate. I mean, offensively and defensively, because here I know defensively, Wade Phillips wants a real pressure defense to keep him down here and get the ball back. And then the Cowboys, of course, this is like short yardage. They just got to get that thing out of there.
Timeout, Dallas. Wade Wilson trots over to the sideline. Wade's just happy to be with the Cowboys. He, of course, has lived in Dallas for a long time. The closest he ever came to a Super Bowl was 1 year in Minnesota, then the years in New Orleans, and now he's home.
Like you said, a 15-year veteran. He signed a 3-year contract with the Cowboys. It was important for the Cowboys to know that they were going to have a quality, experienced veteran backup quarterback to Troy Aikman. Of course, they also have Jason Garrett as a third quarterback, but I think if anything happened to Troy Aikman, they would want, you know, that guy that has been there and been in big games, and that's why they got Wade Wilson.
There's the guys you're going to see at the half. Jimmy Johnson, of course, on the left, Terry in the middle, and JB on the right. 2nd and 8. Wilson out of the end zone. Gets the ball to Corey Fleming. And Fleming gets out enough for a first down.
Yeah, you could just feel what it's like to be a quarterback on that last picture there. You saw Wade Wilson and what he was looking at. And again, a quarterback can't look at the rush. You don't even want to know. You kind of feel the rush, but you have to look beyond the rush at your receivers or you're never going to complete a pass. So that's a tough thing for any young player to not watch the guys that are rushing you.
Well, that's a tough thing to realize that you have to do. You have to feel them, not watch them. Sherman Williams. Covington on the stop.
There's a guy that's been impressive to this Buffalo Bill team is Damian Covington, number 57 there. You know, they say that he's short. He's not 6 feet. He's like, 5'10", 5'11", but he's one of these guys, every time you watch him in a game, he's in or around on every tackle. And he just has a nose for the ball, and he just plays football the way that's supposed to be played.
That same is true in practice.
And there's always a spot for those guys.
Wilson to Sherman Williams. I beg your pardon, to Lang out of the backfield. He, too, a good receiver.
Yeah, this is a heck of a drive for the Cowboys because they were backed up there. They had a turnover down there. That would have been a big play for the Bills. Had they had to give up the ball down there, the Bills would have had good position. But by getting a couple first downs here, then they're going to get out of this thing pretty good.
Less than 3 minutes left in the first half. Buffalo nothing, Dallas nothing. 1st and 10. Cowboys at their own 26. Wade Wilson. Incomplete. That one had a chance to be intercepted, intended for Ed Hervey.
There's another guy that the Cowboys like is Ed Hervey. He was a 5th-round draft choice out of USC. He played there for John Robinson, and I know John Robinson was a friend of Ernie Zampese's, and he said that this kid is a big target, can run, and he thinks that he can play in this league.
You said he could run. In fact, he debated whether or not to make track a career or to try to play football. Shows football. He can fly.
Right, and John Robinson at SC moved him to wide receiver.
Wilson. Down he goes. Good, strong rush by the Buffalo Bills.
It's a nose tackle. You
Corbin Lucina, I believe.
It was a nose tackle.
Right.
Johnson. You saw
Johnson.
He just started right into the center, and then he just stopped, held, and went around.
That brings up 3rd and long, 19 yards. Buffalo's had 2 sacks. Dallas 1. Wilson back to throw again. Gets it up to Sherman Williams. Lilo Lang made the stop.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of having a backup quarterback who's played for 15 years. You get in a situation like this, and you have rookies in there, you have young players in there, and you need a cool-headed veteran. That's exactly what Wade Wilson is.
2-minute warning. Still no score. Coming up, stay tuned for the Dockers halftime. James Brown will be joined by Terry Bradshaw and Jimmy Johnson with scores and highlights from around the league. Also, Pam Oliver's in Oakland with a report on the Raiders' return to the Bay Area. They're working.
Yeah, they are. The only thing that you don't like about it is they have their back to the game. You know, and I've always said never turn your back on the ball. That was one of the rules. You know, when you're ever in the field, see, here's their backs here.
Yeah.
Here's the game out here. Now they're all looking this way, and all the ball's being played back here. So anytime, I mean, stuff could fly in there. This punt could go all the way and hit them right in the head, and they wouldn't even see it coming.
But they're rehearsing.
Yeah, but I mean, Jet may punt right, went right in there.
If it's another kick like the last one. Ken Irvin back to stay away from it, but the Bills shove the official out of the way and says, get out of here. Since the last time John and I were on the air, last year's championship game, there have been 5 new affiliates to join the Fox family. They're KTBC in Austin, Texas, KDFW in Dallas, KABB in San Antonio, WJSV in South Bend, Indiana, and KTVI in St. Louis. And we'd both like to extend a warm welcome to those great stations. There's the new crew, the new affiliates that have joined us.
You're talking about the new guard for the Buffalo Bills. Reuben Brown is in there now. 79. He looks like he's going to be a good one. I like him.
He just said the other day, I've still got a lot to learn. Strom back to throw, trying to set up a screen. Does, but it doesn't work. Bill Bates and Derek Holmes up to stop it.
Well, you see what he does here. You see he's going to start here now. Now it's a screen, so he has to block a little while. Then he has to get out into the screen. Now he maybe lets his guy go a little early because his guy put the pressure on Strom there. But watch him here. Block, block, block. Now go down to do the screen. You see? But he didn't get out there for the screen or block long enough.
Flag on the play. The pass complete from Strom to his wide receiver, Damon Thomas. But a penalty marker down.
I think we were asking Marv Levy the other day about the most important thing for these preseason games, and he said the most important is to evaluate personnel.
72 offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Well, you know, since Marv Levy's been in Buffalo, only one time, only 1 year did they have a winning record in preseason. That was last year when they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and then they had a losing record during the regular season. And
right.
I remember there was 1 year when they went to the Super Bowl and didn't win a single game in preseason. So there are people that are telling them, hey, Marv, keep it up. Don't win a game in preseason. That's a bad omen when you win these games.
2nd and 27. Draw play. This is Holmes. Out of bounds in Dallas territory. Picked up the first down with 27 yards needed. Clayton Holmes chased him out of bounds. Derek Holmes.
You see right here, they get in a shotgun, so everyone's thinking best. Then he's going to hand on a draw here to Holmes. You see, he just starts here, and like he's going back, and then boom, he hands on that draw. The Cowboys were in a pass rush coming up the field, a couple of missed tackles, and a pretty good run by Holmes.
This guy's had 2 good games in a row, and he's doing well again tonight.
I don't necessarily think that he had to run out of bounds there.
Strong pump fake. Incomplete, but a flag on the play.
You know, one thing now, a new rule this year, Pat, is they can knock a receiver out of bounds, and he can still come back in and catch the ball. Used to be that he couldn't come back in and be the first guy to touch the ball.
Tight end Lonnie Johnson was the intended receiver.
Lonnie Johnson was knocked out of bounds.
Out and up.
Illegal contact on the defensive team, number 25. 5 yards, automatic first down.
Greg Trimble was called for the penalty. Nothing score. 1:07 left to play in the first half.
Prior to the snap, 62 offense, 5 yards, still first down.
So there were 2 penalties on the play. So that one will be canceled. 1st and 10. Strom deep again. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Damon Thomas.
Yeah, he's just throwing it out there. You see, he's back there now. Now, the Cowboys know that they have to pass, so they're putting on their pass rush, and they're running stunts all the time. You see, they got the tackles going to the outside, the ends coming to the inside, and the Buffalo Bill offensive line is really having trouble with these defensive line stunts because these really aren't blitzes. These are just line stunts, defensive linemen running cross charges.
Flag on the play. Clock will stop with less than a minute to go. No score yet.
That time I think that was just Shante Carver just leaving a little early. You want to get off on the ball, but not before the ball.
Defense, number 96, offside.
I think it's fair to say that Shante Carver was a disappointment last year. But I think most of the teammates are impressed with his effort this year. Gained weight, gotten stronger.
Yeah, if he can watch and listen and learn from Charles Haley and be anything like Charles Haley, and that's what they expect of him, then they're going to have a pretty good player. But he just has to work hard and get bigger.
2nd and 10. This is Holmes again. The ball carrier stopped by Michael Batiste.
The one thing that the Buffalo Bills need, and you need in this situation here, is some team speed. I mean, someone that can go deep for you. And I think if there's anything that they're going to be looking for in a trade or on the waiver wire, someone that can go deep.
3rd down, pass complete. Jim Kelly wants a timeout. It was Tyrone Williams who made the reception.
Going to be right there at that first down marker too. In fact, they're giving him a first down. They said that he did get the first down.
Got the clock stopped with 30 seconds left to play. No score yet. Strom.
Yeah, I didn't know that he got a first down. It looked like he was short of the first down. I think, and they didn't measure it or anything. I think they got a little plus there because when he went down, that ball was short of that first down marker. I thought they were going to have to use a 4th down play to go here when they took time out.
Jim Schaffner is the quarterback coach for the Buffalo Bills. He was standing over with Kelly as the 2 of them gave instructions to Strom. 30 seconds left. Bills have 1 timeout remaining. 1st and 10. Strom out of the shotgun. The Cowboys blitz. The pass is incomplete. No penalty. No flag.
I think here on first down or now on second down, they ought to think in terms of getting something like 5 or 6 yards, get in good field goal position, then have that, settle that down, and then go for your touchdown. Because if you go from here, you're going to have an awfully long field goal. So I think you want to get your field goal position first, then take your shots in the end zone. I think that shot was too deep there.
Field goal shot from here would be about 56 yards. And here's Strong. Got some yards to Tony Klein.
That's what I thought they should have done on first down. You see, and now you get in that area. Now you got your field goal. Now you try and get your first down and a touchdown.
They have one timeout left, remember. The clock's running with 10 seconds left. And now Marv Levy wants them to try it. Just what you're talking about.
That was a slow timeout Marv took. He kind of put both hands up like it was touchdown and then brought the right hand over. He didn't want to take it. I think he would have liked to have gotten off another play. And that other play on third down would have had to been a shot in the end zone.
Steve Christie, one of your better kickers. 2 out of 2 from over 50 yards last season. This one won't be quite that long. And you put together a good record with the weather conditions in Buffalo late in the year. That's a pretty good record. With Tasker holding. Christie long enough and good. And the Bills get on the scoreboard. Don't forget, coming up at the half, JB, Jimmy, Terry Bradshaw, the scores and highlights. That's the end of the first half with the score. Buffalo 3, Dallas nothing. This Fox NFL special will continue with the Dockers halftime after this message and a word from your local station.
Dockers halftime, brought to you by Dockers Khakis, proud makers of nice pants.
Back here at SkyDome, thanks to the foot of a native son, Steve Christie, a Canadian, the Buffalo Bills lead it by the score of 3-0. And along with Jimmy Johnson, Terry Bradshaw, I'm James Brown. Other scores to pass along to you on the preseason slate tonight. The New England Patriots by 7 over the Minnesota Vikings. That in the second quarter. Vincent Brisby with the 2-yard touchdown reception. Denver and the expansion Carolina Panthers. Panthers leading it by 6. That is a halftime score. Houston and Washington, Terry, playing in Tennessee.
Oh, look at this. Chris Chandler dumps it over to Todd McNair. He wants to be the cousin of Steve McNair, the rookie quarterback. He can't handle it. Muhammad Oliver scoops it up 58 yards. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Oliver just as excited as you as the Redskins lead it by 4. That in the second quarter. Philadelphia and the New York Jets playing in Jackson, Mississippi. Rich Kotite, ex-Eagles coach.
Yeah, he says can't do it in Philly. I'll do it in New York. Water says I did it in San Francisco. And here's 13-yard run up the middle, touchdown. Water says I'm the best receiving running back in the league. I'll prove to you I'm the best running back.
Well, Waters paying early dividends. Eagles on top by a touch. And the Oakland Raiders made a successful return to Oakland, winning at 27-22. Jeff Hostetler looked impressive, 9 of 14 for 63 yards. As we come back inside of SkyDome, Jimmy, talking about the first half of this game here, Buffalo's defense, not bad.
Well, I tell you, both defensive teams are playing well. Wade Phillips, the new defensive coordinator for Buffalo's come in and taken some new players, and he's really got them playing well.
Yeah, they wanted to get pressure on the quarterback, and this game they've got a sack on Aikman. That gives them 12 sacks in 3 preseason games so far, plus they've caused 4 turnovers. So they're being aggressive, the Bills that is, defensively.
Terry, Jimmy, let's go back to the conversation we had at the top of the show. Dallas, San Francisco. Dallas lost a lot of players, Mark Stepnoski, Alvin Harper and company. Any one player more serious than the other?
Well, it looks like tonight, they need a wide receiver because they've had some drops. They've had drops all throughout the preseason. And, I've got to scratch my head on some of their personnel moves. You hear they've had the #1 defense in the league 2 out of the last 3 years. They're talking about paying Deion Sanders $3 million plus to go play defense for them. If they take that $3 million plus and the money that they gave the replacement players, they could have kept all of the players they lost in free agency, including Alvin Harper and Mark Stepnoski.
I don't want you scratching your head, Coach, because you might mess your hair up. But I want my center there. I want the same guy that I put my hands under his buttocks. I want him there, and I think the Stepnoski is a key factor in the offense for the Cowboys.
You want that familiar feel?
Absolutely.
All right, and Jimmy showing he's thinking these guys are already in midseason form, and we'll hear more of that as the season moves forward. Coming up next, the glory of the Raiders was when they were the Oakland Raiders, and today they return to the Bay. Our Pam Oliver was there, and we'll hear from her talk about that after this. Steve Christie's 44-yard field goal accounting for the difference at the half. Bills on top by 3. And a reminder, our preseason game next Friday features the Oakland Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings. Kickoff is 8 Eastern, and we certainly invite you to be here with us. And welcome back to SkyDome. Today was a big day for the Raiders franchise as they returned to Oakland and once again became the Oakland Raiders. Now, the Raiders are the first franchise ever to leave a city and then return. Fox Sports' Pam Oliver is in Oakland for the Raiders' MacArthur-esque return.
Of Oakland, Gertrude Stein once said, "There's no there. Well, when it comes to the NFL, that's no longer the case. Today was the home debut of the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. Hours before game time, the parking lot started to fill up with the faithful. Having seen the team move to L.A. in 1982, the early birds were waiting.
Raiders. Home sweet home, baby. They're home, and they're staying this time, man, forever.
Back in their heyday, the Oakland Raiders were known for their smash-mouth style. They were full of vim, vigor, and victory. Some teams are haunted by their past. In Oakland, the Raiders hope to recapture theirs.
This is like a lost child, and we had to go back and retrieve
home,
it
baby.
and bring it back home. This is Mama right here.
We're just real happy that the people are so excited. It's going to make us feel good. And as I said, the Raiders have always been successful, and we just hope to be a part of that success.
Some things never change. Owner Al Davis still strolls the field before the game.
Just want to watch the Raiders grow and become great for the 1995 season.
I always felt that we would be back here. I didn't know how and when it was going to happen, but here we are, and I'm really thankful for that.
As for the game, with Vince Evans leading the way, the Raiders, formerly of L.A., beat the also formerly of L.A. St. Louis Rams 27-22.
I think that these people have grown up with this team, and it's like the prodigal son. He's come back home now.
It's tremendous, man. We're going to do a lot of things this year.
Due to the last-minute move, the Raiders will continue to live and work in L.A., returning here to play on weekends at their old but new home in Oakland. I'm Pam Oliver, sending it back now to James Brown.
All right, Pam, a very strong and welcome addition, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the year. Of course, football fans know that one of the guys with the Raiders during their glory years, our own John Madden. And, John, the question is, the effect of this move on the players, positive or negative?
I think it's a very positive thing, JB. I think that it's something that I never felt the Raiders should have left Oakland. And even when they went down to Los Angeles, I never thought of them as the Los Angeles Raiders. To me, they always were the Oakland Raiders. I know I was the head coach there for 10 years, and during those 10 years, every game was a sellout. And when football needed Oakland, Oakland was there for them. And now Oakland needs something. They need football, and it's great to see the Raiders back there. And I think it's going to be a plus for everyone.
All right, John, thank you very much. And the second half kickoff will be coming your way with Pat Summerall and John Madden after this.
You're watching a Fox NFL special.
Back in Toronto, the American Bowl of '95, Buffalo leading 3-0 over the Dallas Cowboys. And you just got a good look at what a marvelous structure this is, state-of-the-art. The game hasn't really matched the structure so far.
No, it's kind of like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You know, the Cowboys had a chance. They got a turnover early, and they couldn't get it in. And then Buffalo had something going at the end, and they had to settle for a field goal. And it was one of those things that, you know, we're just talking about the second preseason game, and, you know, they're looking at a lot of players, and you can just tell that they haven't practiced much together, and that's not really a priority yet.
You know, John, there are a lot of schools of thought about what you're trying to accomplish in preseason games. You talked about Marv Levy. What, as a coach, when you were coaching the Raiders, what were you looking for? Winning record?
I always liked to win. I mean, I didn't care what I played. I wanted to win it, and then I wanted to give players experience. I didn't want to look at players. I had looked at them all training camp. I was tired of looking at them. They were tired of looking at me.
Twice a day.
Yeah, so I never liked that. I want to look at some players. I've seen them. I wanted to just give guys experience.
Baker, the kickoff. This is Holmes again. The ball carrier ran into his own man. The Cowboys then converged.
Yeah, ran into Tony Klein, little man from Stanford.
Halftime statistics: the Cowboys rushing yards 66, mostly by Emmitt Smith when he played. Passing yards 98. Total yards 164. Time of possession, the Cowboys lead, but the score, that bottom column we were just talking about, that's led by Buffalo.
Yeah, there's the one that the Cowboys had the time of possession and didn't do anything with it, and the Buffalo Bills didn't have the ball, so they couldn't do anything with it.
Rick Strom back at quarterback. That's Charlie Williams, the injured player on the kickoff return. Strom is again the quarterback, fighting for the backup job behind Jim Kelly. Holmes, the ball carrier. And again, he gets good yardage.
You know that little thing we saw there, that fullback just kind of shifting and going in motion. I think that's a new thing that Buffalo is doing with two-back, and I think we're going to see a lot of that this year, where the fullback doesn't always line up on one side and know where he's going to lead or which side you're going to run the lead draw to.
2nd and 4. Holmes got 6 from the quarterback. Nate Turner this time. Stopped by Jim Schwantz.
Yes, Schwantz is in there. Remember, a year ago, we saw Schwantz. He was with the Dallas Cowboys, and we saw him in a game, and then he got traded. The next game we did is up in Chicago, and he was traded to the Bears.
Right.
And now he's back with the Cowboys. So we've seen Schwantz with the Cowboys, and then with the Bears, and then back with the Cowboys. And the Cowboys always liked him. They really didn't want to let him go, and then when they had a chance to get him back, they did.
And they say he has a good chance to make the team. 3rd and short. About a foot. Looks like they got it.
There's big Reuben Brown right there. You know, one thing that guys do. Remember how offensive linemen used to wear big old jerseys? Now you get a big guy like Reuben Brown, and he wears like a medium jersey. I mean, that's why they look, you know, sometimes they look a little fatter than they are because the jerseys are too tight.
Well, they have them tight like that so they can't so the defender can't grab them.
Can't grab them, yeah. I mean, they don't wear like triple extra large anymore.
Holmes again spins away from one tackle, breaks another. And he looks like he has a good shot at making this Buffalo Bills team as well.
Let's watch Brown here. He's a left guard. Now, the thing he's going to do, you see, he gets his hand out there to help his center. Then he gets his hand out to help his tackle. And then he puts his hand, boom, right in that linebacker's face. Yeah. That reminds me of another 79, Eric Williams for the Cowboys when he played. That, you know, that hand right to the face.
Reuben Brown's 305 at least. Pass incomplete.
You know what I liked about that play is on the way to blocking his guy, which was a linebacker, he helped the center by punching that right hand out there, and he helped his left tackle by punching the left hand out there, and then he went and got his guy.
There was a time you couldn't do that.
Well, let's just watch it again. I like it. Here he comes. He's going to hit out here, then boom, and then go get the guy. Watch how you get the right arm there, the left arm out there. You see the left arm out there? He just grabbed the guy on that one.
Yep. There's still a time you can't do that. Just trying to keep him honest. Flag on the play as Strom fires incomplete, intercepted by Schwantz as he got the rebound.
You say there is a penalty on the play. In fact, I see 3 flags.
Right.
There's one on either side and one back in the area of the quarterback. But, you know, that's the danger of throwing the ball in the middle. That thing where you hit the guy and it pops up in the air. And
number 99, offside. Holding, offense, number 72. The penalty's offset. Will replay third down.
One thing about Marv Levy, who's a student of history, a very well-educated man, it's Elijah Pitts that he's talking to, the ex-great runner for the Green Bay Packers. Marv Levy has never lost his enthusiasm for the game. He's never in any way wavered his enthusiasm.
No, and he's been in it in all areas. Yeah. He was one of the first special teams coaches that they ever had in the NFL. Remember when he was with George Allen, and then he coached as a head coach in Canada. He coached in the USFL, coached as an assistant coach, a head coach at Kansas City, at Buffalo. I mean, Marv Levy is a football coach and always has been a football coach and always will be a football coach.
I think you're right. Before the game, he was out with a stopwatch clocking the hang time on the kickers. Once a special team coach, always a special teams coach.
And once you're the first special teams coach, you're always going to be the first special teams coach.
Strom under pressure. Scrambles for a first down. That last dive did it. And he might have paid for it. Floyd Fields hit Strom.
Oh, Russell Maryland was just reaching out there for everything that he had to get him. See, Strom gets flushed out here, and then he has to step up. He has no one open. He steps up here. Now watch 67. Maryland's going there. Everything he has is 97. I'm sorry. Then Batiste, he just had to give up, but he couldn't get there. And then Strom got the first down.
Batiste was looking for another gear that wasn't there.
You know, it's interesting that Batiste is playing in there now because he was a defensive lineman who they moved this past week to offense, and now they're playing. He's been practicing on offense. Now they're playing in this game on defense.
Strom takes a Buffalo timeout. The Bills still lead 3-0 with 11:24 left to play in the third quarter. Cowboy cheerleaders and the Buffalo Jills made the trip to Toronto.
Yeah, well, they had a big day with the cheerleaders here. It was open for the fans. They had NFL experience here. They had cheerleaders giving demonstrations, signing autographs. They had both teams out here in the stadium yesterday, a media day and a practice. So this has been a real happening up here.
A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement.
Ray Donaldson, just saw a shot of him. He looked like he was still fired up to play, and he hasn't been in there for about an hour and a half.
That's Holmes again. Barnes, Reggie Barnes made the stop. This was yesterday. The NFL experience. The day before it began outside the dome.
Yeah, see, they have these things where you can go in there and do things. I mean, you can run through things, and then you can throw balls, and then you can get autographs of the players,
or you can do. That's an NFL experience.
Yeah, how do you know when you're done with that look?
I don't know when you start. Pass is complete to Adofale. Greg Trimble finally made the stop.
That's what they want. They need some explosiveness. You know, they haven't had it for years. They've always had a tight end under control, and they're looking for someone that can give them a bigger play. And they think that they have 4 tight ends on this squad, all inexperienced, but maybe capable of bigger plays than someone like Metzlar's was over the years.
O.J. Adofale is 6'7", 260 from Missouri.
And he looks like he can run a little.
Yes, he does. And with that kind of size, here's Holmes. And he looks like he can run a little.
Yeah, you look over the years of Pete Metzlar's and what he's done, 302 catches for 2,921 yards in 22 days, and then you lose him, and look what you end up with. I mean, you end up with only one guy who's caught a pass in the NFL, and that's Lonnie Johnson,
right.
And he's caught 3. So that, I mean, you have 4 guys trying to replace one, but they do have some hopes for that position.
This is the 10th play of this drive coming up, and it's Holmes again. Slanting left for perhaps a couple of yards. Jim Swans again on the stop.
Holmes is a tough guy. He's a tough running back. He's from Portland State, went to Pasadena Junior College in California, and then up there to Portland State. And just watching him, he has a good feel for the game. I mean, he's a tough guy. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to protect the ball. You can see him protect the ball and use his shoulder pads, always staying and running behind his shoulder pads.
Plus, he's got good size, 225.
He's a good-looking running back.
3rd and 5. Strom back to throw it. Incomplete. Intended for Bucky Brooks in the corner of the end zone. Alundis Bryce was the defender.
It looked like Bryce was going to catch that ball. Look at the position that Bryce is in. And as a cornerback and as a receiver, when the ball goes there, you have to get up to your highest point. And Bryce didn't quite get to his highest point, and the ball just went right through his hands. That could have easily been an interception.
So the Bills will try another field goal. Tasker holding for Steve Kratz from 29 yards out. Christie kicked the other one. Plenty of leg there and plenty good. And the Bills lead it 6-0. Buffalo, the home team.
Here's one of the new rules, Pat. Watch this clock here. Once the official gives the ball to the kicker, he'll start this clock. And the kicker has 25 seconds. See, now watch. He'll hand the ball to the kicker, then he'll give a motion. See right there? That starts this 25-second clock here. Now the kicker has 25 seconds to kick the ball off.
That's Steve Kratz. The kickers had been spending time massaging the ball and bouncing it. So this, as you said, is another effort to speed things up.
It looks like he's going to take right at the time. Well, 5 seconds he had to spare.
This is Ed Hervey. Hervey out to about the 32. There's a flag on the play from a long distance away. The flag bounced in.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you're always looking at. When you talk about evaluating players, it's right there in that last play. Kickoff coverage, kickoff return, punt coverage, punt return, because that's where you have to find your players.
Holding during the return on number 56 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
You know, with the cap and so on today, it's, football kind of is where you pay your starters and you don't have a lot of money for quality backup, so you go from starters and stars who get a lot of money to special teams players who make the minimum, and that's kind of how you have to build a team in these times.
And that's not just the good teams, that's every team. That's the way it's going to be.
Right, so there's a lot of guys who will just make pro football just because they're good on special teams.
Wade Wilson, incomplete. Intended for Corey Fleming.
Well, he had Fleming wide open, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Looks like Rick Strom won't be playing anymore once they put that tape thing on your elbow. The bad news is that he has a tape ice pack on his elbow. The good news is it's his left elbow of a right-handed thrower.
When he scrambled for that first down earlier, he landed on that left elbow.
Yeah, and that'll, sometimes you just pop that burst and it comes, boom, it just pops out of there like a softball in your arm.
2nd down and 10. Wilson to Sherman Williams. He gets maybe 3. Stopped by David White.
One thing I think the Buffalo Bills have to be happy with is that this defense of Wade Phillips, this aggressive defense, is really not given the Cowboys a lot of room. I mean, they've been smothered on a lot of their plays. And, they've gotten a pretty good pass rush. They've kind of smothered this run, and they're playing a pretty solid defense, even though we're talking about backup players.
Brings up 3rd and 8. Wade Wilson, incomplete. No flag. Corey Fleming was the intended receiver. There was no penalty marker down. Lilo Lang was the defender. Yeah. Marv Fleming kind of likes Lang. Been out of football for a year, but he likes the way he moves, he says.
Yeah, that's a tough thing when a guy sits out for a year and then comes back to a camp, but he's been impressive in camp.
I said Marv Fleming. How about Marv Levy? Good kick and a decent return. Ken Irvin back to make the effort. 6-0 Buffalo. We're in the third quarter of the American Bowl of '95 in Toronto, Canada. The Buffalo Bills lead Dallas 6-0. Not a long trip from here to Buffalo. We made it on Thursday.
It would have taken about an hour and a half.
Something like that.
Went through Niagara Falls on the way. Yep, beat that.
Van Pelt is the quarterback. And his throw is high on his first pass attempt. Going to see a lot of rollouts like that as this year passes by.
I think that's probably the biggest pass in the NFL right now is what we just saw right there, and that's a bootleg. Not the where'd that come from?
That's not a bootleg.
I'm talking about a bootleg. see a bus crossing through, going through a tunnel. What's that? Where are we? This is how we got into Canada.
We're crossing the border.
That's how we got in. I thought we needed birth certificates and passports and all that stuff. All we needed was 2 autographed caps.
See, we looked comfortable, didn't we?
Not a bad way to go.
Yeah. Derek Holmes again, the ball carrier.
Because we had gone down to Buffalo to watch the Bills practice, and in Buffalo they practiced there Thursday, so we watched them there Thursday, and then drove over here to Toronto Thursday afternoon.
We were tempted to try to find a barrel and go over the falls, but we just didn't have time.
I don't know who was tempted. Who was tempted to talk about it.
The big barrel. 3rd and 11. Van Pelt back to throw. And his pass is it. It's caught by Justin Armour.
Now there's a big target. You know, we talk about Tony Klein being from Stanford. Tony Klein was a tight end. Justin Armour was a wide receiver. You know, and they played for Bill Walsh, both of them. So they kind of understand this part of football. And this guy Justin Armour, he reminds me a lot of Dwight Clark. Remember they played for the 49ers? Sure. In fact, I think he probably reminded Bill Walsh of Dwight Clark, and that's why he recruited him at Stanford.
6'4", 220. Nate Turner. At the end of this game, John and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game, and right now, I haven't got an opinion, do you?
No, I don't think we have one yet. I think the player of this game is going to emerge between now and the end of the game.
I have one in mind.
Well, don't tell me.
Okay. Thurman Thomas. Now, he practiced that a lot, I bet you. Second down. Flags on the play. Derek Holmes again with room. To the 20. Down at about the Dallas 18. Darren Studstill. He's got a nice little dip step.
Yeah, he feels good about himself. You know, and that's a lesson. I'm sure both coaches are going to make it that a penalty is not a whistle. And it looked like half the players stopped because there was a penalty flag, but there wasn't a whistle. A whistle stops play. A flag doesn't.
Number 97, offside. Penalties refused. First down.
You know, this is the second time this year already in the past 3 weeks these two teams have played.
Right, and I think when they see him jump off sides, I think the Cowboys think that the play's over, and the play's not over. You see, they jump, and it looks like half of them just kind of stop. And then Derek Holmes just cuts back, and there's only about half guys playing. And the guys that were playing weren't tackling very well. There'll be a lesson there.
11 carries, 74 yards. Screen pass again is to Holmes inside the 10 to about the 7. Dana Howard made the stop for the Cowboys, but it's 1st and goal, Buffalo.
Derek Holmes better keep that energy because he may need a couple more plays to get that ball in the end zone. You don't want to use up all your energy celebrating.
Going to get a little rest.
Well, he shouldn't get a rest. I mean, I think leave him in there. Put him in there and see what he can do. I don't necessarily believe in that in a rookie, that he runs a couple plays and you give him a rest. I think you work him because you want to judge people in the middle of the field, but you also want to judge them when they're going in, when they're inside the 10. That's a big area to evaluate.
Bender is taking his place. Flags on the play. They took too long.
Here's an interesting player, this Kerry Bender. Offense, 5 yards, still first down.
See now Holmes, I think, took too much time celebrating. Then they take him out. Then they put someone else in, and then they take too much time, so they get a 5-yard penalty, and they lose their momentum. I don't necessarily agree with this in preseason or regular season or postseason or any season.
You were talking about Bender, number 45, who's a tailback. He went to the same college as Mark Levy did.
Coe College. How many football players are from Coe?
Well, 2 that we know.
But watch the record that Kerry Bender had. Of all the guys, look, these were the guys that led of all time, had the most yardage in college. Now that's Division I, of course. Kerry Bender from Coe College had 6,125 yards, and that's the most yards gained in collegiate history. But again, we're talking about Coe College now. And there's other guys, that's Division III and all that stuff.
Division III is the key.
But that's a heck of a lot of yards if you gain it against the air.
Van Pelt. Incomplete. Robert Coons was the intended receiver who tripped over Darren Studstill.
Yeah, you see what you do when they put a little guy like Bender in, you always test him. You always make him block. That's an old NFL thing. When you see a little guy like 5'8", you say, don't let him go out in the pass. Take the little guy and make him block. And that's what they do there. You see, he has to pick up the blitz there. That doesn't work too well.
Yeah.
But they didn't have big guys like old Schwantz coming at me at Coe College.
3rd down. Buffalo leading 6-0, trying for more. Again, a flag on the play. And now this is starting to look like a preseason game.
But it happened when they took Derek Holmes out. I mean, they had something going, and you have to be in good enough shape to keep it going.
76 offense.
Especially as a rookie.
Yeah,
5 yards,
and that's when they do that. I mean, he was celebrating, then he comes out, then they get too much time, and then they get a loss, then they get another penalty, and you have momentum going. Make the defense kill your momentum. Don't kill it yourself.
And then celebrate.
Yeah, celebrate when you go home. Celebrate in your house tomorrow.
3rd and 14. 3rd and goal from the 14. And again, they're out of sync. Holmes is back in the contest.
But isn't that something, how you have things going, and then one little thing just kicks it out of sync, and then you just can't get it back, and then you can't even get the ball snapped on time.
62 offense prior to the snap. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Marv doesn't even know who to yell at.
He doesn't believe it.
That's the definition of going nowhere fast.
Mike Devlin. Third down now at the 19. 3rd and goal from the 19. That's called a catch by Bucky Brooks. And a fine catch indeed.
That was a heck of a throw by Alex Van Pelt and a heck of a catch by Bucky Brooks. He runs it out here. Watch, pretty good pass protection. Van Pelt is watching him all the way. He looks out there and he watches Brooks all the way, hits him right in the hand. I don't think he got that second foot in, though. That's okay.
4th and goal at the 3, and the field goal unit again, and this is Christie this time with Tasker holding. 1-on-1. He hit one from 44 yards. The snap is bad, and Tasker comes up with it, and the Cowboys repel after the Bills kept the ball for a long time, and it always goes back, and still goes back to what you were talking about before.
If you just have one thing going here, let's watch this Bucky Brooks now. He doesn't have the second foot in, but there's a rule that if you have one knee down, that equals 2 feet. So if that left knee gets in, then the left knee was out too. The knee was out, the foot was out, everything was out.
Still 6-0 Buffalo. 1st and 10. In Toronto, record attendance tonight. Record for football, baseball, 55,799. The biggest crowd they've ever had. This team is hungry. This town is hungry, I should say, for the NFL, professional football. They've got all the other sports now. Wade Wilson. Intended for David Lang out of the backfield. Wilson's throw was there, but it was good coverage.
You know, one thing that's funny, you watch Wade Wilson play at different places, and he kind of takes on that offense. And when he's throwing now this Ernie Zampese offense, Dallas Cowboy offense, he looks like Troy Aikman. He has that ball up there, that back foot hits, and boom, he just gets rid of it quickly.
Same technique.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he was saying, you just have to get in the same groove with everyone else.
Incomplete. Billy Davis was the intended receiver. He thinks he was interfered with, but the officials don't agree.
One thing that the Buffalo Bills have done well is they've rushed the passer well tonight. So
yes, they have.
You can either say the Bills defense is rushing the passer well, or the other side, the Cowboys are having trouble with pass protection. Wade Phillips there, of course, would like to think it's the defense.
John Jett back to punt. Ken Irvin deep for Buffalo. Irvin says get away from it. Out of bounds at about the 43-yard line, where the Bills will take over. It is still Buffalo 6, Dallas nothing. 1:15 left in the third.
The tension is mounting. The heat is on. With each step, Fox charges toward the premiere of its NFL season when the Oakland Raiders clash with the Minnesota Vikings. Coverage begins Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
You know, on that last kick, they called a penalty. The right here, you see right there, Lilo Lang. He knocks this guy out of bounds, which is okay. Then he knocks him into the paper stuff. Then he holds on to him, and he knocks him into anything else they got. So there was a 15-yard penalty on that.
And then he helped him back up.
Yeah.
So Buffalo was penalized 15 yards. And they'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
We always tell a guy, you know, block him till the whistle blows. I guess you got to add, you know, inside the white lines. Lilo Lang had him pretty good, though.
Yep, had the clamps on him.
Yeah, had the clamps on him, and then he kept going. Probably had he let the clamps go when he went out of bounds, he probably would have been okay.
Troy Aikman, who started and played longer than he has in the 2 previous preseason games.
When Jason Garrett goes in as a quarterback, then Troy is going to call the play to him. The play comes from Ernie Zampese down to the sideline to Jason Garrett and then into Troy Aikman or Wade Wilson. Then when Jason Garrett goes in, the guy who usually calls the plays, Troy Aikman is going to take over and do that job. Of course, the Cowboys only have 3 yards a second half. Their total offense is 3 yards. The Bills have 146 yards.
Alex Van Pelt, 3 out of 5, 41 yards. Strom replaced Kelly. Cornelius Bennett with the shoulder pads off.
That's an old veteran trick. When you go out, you take all your pads off, and then that way you're sure they're not going to put you back in. Although there's no way they'd put Cornelius Bennett back in anyway.
But I noticed Aikman still had his pads on.
Yeah, well, Aikman's one of those guys that he knows. I mean, he makes so much money. He knows there's no. If they put him back in, I think Jerry Jones would fly out of the stadium. They fly out of the roof.
Nate Turner. Shante Carver. Oscar Sturgis. Reggie Barnes involved in the tackle.
This is what it looks like down here from the I formation. See, you have the fullback going one way. That's to give a little misdirection. And then the tailback goes the other way without a lead blocker. Usually you start in with your lead blocker, and there's something there, you follow him. If not, you cut away from him. That play, they just cut away from him before it even started.
Second down. Less than a minute left in the third. This is Alex Van Pelt, screen pass to Nate Turner. Turner met at the 30 by Jim Swans. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, and the National Football League is prohibited. 3rd and 6. Jim Swans has had a busy night. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Buffalo 6, Dallas nothing. This Fox NFL special will continue after these messages from your local Fox station. The Moose is not going to be loose too much longer.
No, there's Daryl Johnston. That's his fiance. And this fellow right here is Daryl Johnston's dad. And they met for the first time tonight. The Johnston family and the fiance's family came here and met at this stadium for the first time.
He's not loose anymore.
I know. And she even made sure that. You see her stand up and start waving? Listen, that's it. You know, you wonder how he decides that, well, you know, the way I'm going to introduce my fiance to my parents and their family to the family, I'll have them for the football game. I'll get them tickets together. What if they didn't like each other? They're going to have like an argument or something. They can't do it in front of 55,000 people.
Why not?
Well, you can't do it because then they'd all see and you couldn't say you didn't do it.
Van Pelt, the quarterback. His pass complete to Tyrone Williams. Flag on the play.
Yeah, we were talking about breaking records and how Bender, you know, at Coe College broke some records. Van Pelt at the University of
Illegal
Pittsburgh.
contact. Number 27, defense. Penalty is refused. First down.
But Alex Van Pelt at the University of Pittsburgh broke a lot of Dan Marino's passing records.
Right.
And then he was drafted as a local, where he started as a local favorite with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you look at that, the completions and the attempt and the yards were all school records. So you think of University of Pittsburgh quarterback passing, you don't think of Alex Van Pelt, you think of Dan Marino.
1st and 10, Buffalo. Cowboys show a blitz. Van Pelt back to throw it. Broken up at the last second. Tyrone Williams, the intended receiver. Clayton Holmes back with him.
He had Justin Armour wide open. He had two levels there. He had the deep guy and the middle guy, and Armour was coming underneath, and he was going to be wide open. And he just, when you watch him come off here with the deep guy, when they run with the deep guy, Armour comes right underneath it. You know, Clayton Holmes is turning into a pretty good player. He's a guy who's a good cover guy. He's a good special teams player. He's a good nickel defensive cover guy.
He's been there for a while. They kept waiting for him to come on, and he's coming on. Nate Turner The ball carrier stopped by Greg Trimble.
You know, with that defensive secondary, there's talking in Dallas of, who's going to sign Deion Sanders, and the 49ers are a possibility, or probably the favorite to, but there's some talk that the Dallas Cowboys are going to try and sign Deion Sanders. There's also talk about the Miami Dolphins, but I think the Cowboys and the 49ers are so close that a guy like Deion Sanders could tip the scale.
There's a lot of talk in Dallas about him signing. Justin Armour from Van Pelt. First down, Buffalo. Greg Trimble, the defender.
Yeah, this is why you like a tall receiver. You see Van Pelt here. You have defensive guys coming at you and everything, and you like to see a 6'4" guy down there because, again, you can't watch the pass rush. Van Pelt's only 6 foot tall, so he can get a lot of help from a 6'4" wide receiver.
Who can go get the ball and who likes to go get the ball, like Armour did. He's in motion this time. Nate Turner.
One of the things with this NFL passing game or this West Coast pass offense or whatever, this, short ball control pass offense, they found that you can't play with short wide receivers. That with all the zone defenses and the timing pass routes, that you need big wide receivers, and that's what an Armour gives them.
Well, you look at all the teams that have had success with that short passing possession type offensive pattern.
Well, like Dallas. They had Michael Irvin, they had Harper. The 49ers, Jerry Rice, the best, with John Taylor.
And now J.J. Stokes. He's a big guy.
And that's why Green Bay, I think, is going to miss Sterling Sharp so much because, they used that offense also, and Sterling Sharp was that guy. He was kind of that guy on both sides.
Not that tall, but he was big and strong. And you have to be in that offense. There's Jim Jeffcoat, who spent so many years in Dallas.
The Buffalo Bills are really impressed with him. I think sometimes you bring in a guy like Jim Jeffcoat, who's been in a number of Super Bowls and winning Super Bowls and winning tradition and just coming off having won 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. They bring a certain work ethic to your team.
That's the key. And Pelt overthrows Justin Armour. Flag on the play.
I think they're going to say it's against Justin Armour. Usually when the official runs back, it's against the offense. When he stands down there, it's against the defense.
Flags down at about the 21-yard line. Larry Nemmers will let us know.
Offensive pass interference on number 40 and offensive pass interference on number 86.
They called it on number 86, so that wasn't even Justin Armour here, but Armour did get it right there when he pushed off with his right hand. So they should have called it. It probably was on number 40 because that's what they're calling now. If after 5 yards the defensive guy can't touch and can't push off you, but you can't push off him either. Now this is what 86 did if they got it on him. Now I think it's on Armour. I don't think there was anything wrong there.
3rd and 18. Van Pelt. Incomplete. Intended for Eric Green.
Holy moly, a couple of them. We got a guy holding a bag. Do you see that? I mean, he went out of bounds. He went over another line, over a 3rd line, and then over a paper thing and hit a guy carrying a bag. Watch that. It goes over the line, over that line, over the thing, catches a guy right there. But that parab operator right there hung right in there.
Yeah.
Hung right there. Didn't flinch at all.
Jeff Thomas back deep for the Cowboys. Fields at about the 14. Way to hang in there. He's proud.
Should have had good sound.
Yeah.
Special is brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. By Mortal Kombat, the movie. The battle continues. Rated PG-13. By Tough Actin' Tenactin, the official sponsor of the National Football League. And by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be.
Just outside the SkyDome is the CN Tower. We called it the Space Needle earlier. The CN Tower is the correct name. And John, would you believe it, that there was a guy, Spider Dan Goodwin, who climbed up the outside of that tower twice in one day.
Spider Dan did?
He didn't make it all the way up there.
Well, he didn't get, but he had a better view of it though.
Spider Dan was up there twice.
Spider Dan up the outside of it?
Up the outside.
Did he have a rope?
Well, I don't know.
No, he had to have something on his person. I mean, he just went to climb it with. In one day?
Twice in one day.
And once is nice, do it twice?
Well, that's good. Jason Garrett, the quarterback. That's Eric Bjornsson, who made the reception. The Cowboys very high on Bjornsson.
Yeah, you talk about, armor on one side, and then kind of the Cowboys' armor is Bjornsson, a guy who was a quarterback in high school. In fact, the Oakland Raiders came back to Oakland today. We talked about that at halftime. Bjornsson is from Oakland. Went to Bishop Lookout High School in Oakland.
2nd and 3. Sherman Williams gets the carry and comes close to first down yardage. Not quite. Mark Pike made the stop. Wade Wilson, who had a bad shoulder, a sore shoulder coming in,
still has it.
Has it wrapped again.
Looks like he wrapped it himself. That's not a very good wrap. That
No.
Looks like something, when you didn't have any help, you just had a bandage there and you had to put something on.
That's the price of being a backup.
Oh.
No, he won't be with Spider anytime soon.
Spider did it twice in one day.
Twice
just
in one
once.
day.
Once in 2 days?
No, twice in one day.
No, from the outside?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and that's the biggest freestanding building in the world.
That's correct.
Tallest. Maybe Spider's in that crowd. What do you think Spider's doing tonight?
He's on the other side of the tower.
Look at Spider climb down.
I don't know.
If you get up there, you couldn't get in, so you'd have to climb down.
Well, after you opened the dome, you got back here in a hurry.
Oh, I know. That was fun. Good control.
I think you should be the Miller Lite player of the game.
I should be nothing. No, I should be nothing. That was easy. I just found it before the game, and I said, if they're going to say we open it, we'll open it.
Sherman Williams got some room. To about the 34.
There's Troy Aikman is giving the signals now. He says he enjoys this because he gets to hear Ernie Zampese call the play. So now he's getting it from Ernie, and then he's talking into the receiver right there. See, he's talking. He looks like he's laughing.
Yeah,
looks like he's telling Jason Garrett a joke. Man, tell him a good play. You can't do that to a man. Put him in there and then be laughing at him. What the heck's that all about?
Let's see if the play works. Then we'll know what it was all about. Jason Garrett sacked by Steve Harvey.
Well, let's see if Troy Aikman will give him a serious one this time. I don't think his ears look bigger, do you?
No, well, you can't see him.
No, well, yeah, but then we saw the other side. He said he thinks they look bigger. And when he was in high school, he said that was his nickname, Ears.
Yeah.
So he hasn't called the play yet, has he?
He's listening to Ernie. Or Wade Wilson.
Yeah, see, and then the other quarterback always comes up and asks what the play is.
2nd and 12. Sherman Williams. Flag on the play. Williams got good yardage and up for a first down.
Yeah, but it's going to be holding. It's in that area. They throw it right at the offensive line.
76 offense, 10 yards, still second down.
Jerry Reynolds.
Yep. When they throw that area, when they throw it in that area, that's going to be on the offensive line. Although this is a pretty good run here. I mean that's a good move. That's a Barry Sanders type move. Not that this is Barry Sanders, but that type where you kind of jump to one side, then jump back to the other side, feel your blockers, get in there behind the flow, and then you lose it all because lo and behold, there's a hold.
Ernie Zampese.
There's Ernie Zampese right there. He's the guy that's talking to Troy Aikman.
Dave Campo, the defensive coordinator on the right.
The new defensive coordinator. He's replacing Butch Davis, who went to the University of Miami.
2nd and 22. Garrett to throw it. Jason Garrett has his pass picked off by Marlo Perry.
One thing, this Buffalo Bill defense, and again, I know, it's preseason and they're playing backups, different guys, but they're playing a very solid defensive game.
6-0 Buffalo.
You talk about linebacker drops. Watch Marlo Perry here drop right into this area and get the interception. Coaches love that. We always talk about drops. Get back, get deep, get into an area. Marlo Perry gets right into that area and picks off the ball. That's a linebacker getting good depth.
And Todd Collins is the quarterback for the Bills now. That's Bender. Wade Phillips likes it.
Of course, when you tell your linebackers you got to get depth, you got to get a good drop, and he gets depth and he gets a good drop, then you just pull off your headset and celebrate it. Talking about Tony Klein's dad, I remember Wade Phillips' dad, Bum. I played for years, coached for years against Bum Phillips.
Bum had a different haircut.
Yeah, Bum one time, Ray Guy was my punter, and we punted the ball to them, and he had his guy, Billy White Shoes Johnson, taking the ball.
Collins gets it outside to A.J. Adofoli. I'm sorry, Shea Foster. That's Collins. As you say, he's going to make the team.
Well, yeah, he's going to be there. It's going to be Kelly, and then Van Pelt was the guy that's working, trying to get that other spot. But I was saying about Bum. So Bum takes the ball. He has Billy White Shoes Johnson bring the ball. They put it in the bag and they take it back to Texas to have it tested because they thought it had helium in it. And I said, Bum, if it had helium, then how would we pass the ball on third down? How would the snapper snap it back 15 yards?
Shea Foster again. Well, now, did the ball have helium?
No, it didn't have any helium. Ray Guy was the greatest punter that ever punted. There was no helium in the ball. And they knew that, but how could it? How could you, if the punter is back 15 yards from the snapper? Now, if the ball had helium in it, then the snapper, when he snapped it to the punter, it would just go off into space. It would be up there by the moon.
I remember a catch in a Super Bowl that Ray Guy made.
Oh, yeah.
A high catch.
Yeah. He didn't have any helium in him.
Some pretty good moves. Stopped by Studstill.
One thing that you always tell a running back when you go, stay behind your shoulder pads and stay low. And when you're like Kerry Bender, you just see he's built low. He's built short, so he's behind everything. And he's a hard guy to see, and he makes those little moves, and he darts around, and he's hard. I mean, there's not a lot there to tackle. There's not a lot there to get your hands on. And he can stay low, and those kind of guys, you just can't find them in there.
That's a pretty good run he just made. 1st and 10. From about the Dallas 12. Bender again. To the 5. Knocked backwards there, but another good run.
I know it. He's a feisty little guy. I mean, he has good move. He's a good football player. I mean, he's not just a little guy. You see, he's 5'8", 185 pounds. But he has move, and you see those arms on him? He has pretty good arms there. I mean, he has pretty good strength. He's just a short guy who's really built pretty well. If he gets the ball in here, if Kerry Bender gets the ball in here, he could be the MVP.
2nd and 3. He could be.
It's just a thought.
It is a thought. I'm still leaning toward you, though.
I like Spider.
Tripped up by Artis Houston.
And there was just one guy away from a touchdown there. I think, remember the last time that they had something going down there with Derrick Holmes, and Holmes came out of the game. It was the same type of situation, threw their momentum off. Now at least when Bender's in there, they're staying with it. Just keep him in there. Just let this touchdown be his or not be his.
3rd and 2. Foster down close. They'll get the first down.
That's the way the fullback, you know, you expect the tailback. You see it's a little misdirection. You expect it to go to Bender. He goes the other way, and then they run a little counter in there with the fullback. He brings a pretty big load in there and takes about 6 blue jerseys with him to the goal line. This is what it's all about right down here. Short yardage and goal line.
2 tight ends set up for the Bills.
I wonder if Bender would try and jump over or just go under at 5'8".
Tried to go around.
He didn't do either. That's what you don't do. When you get down in the goal, you only go one direction. You go straight ahead.
Oscar Sturgis on the stop.
You don't bounce something to the outside. Woo! You can't do that. Maybe in Iowa there they could do it, but you can't do it here. I mean, you got to take that thing right up in there, follow your fullback, and keep it up in there. You can't bounce to the outside when you're on the 1-yard line.
Second down. They're at the 4. They just about get back to the 4.
Cowboys are tightening up here. They're coming after them. They're giving them. You have blitzes. You always think of blitzes for passes, and what the Cowboys are giving them down here is a run blitzes. They're really taking those gaps tough on the Buffalo Bills.
Trimble shaken up on the last play. 6-0 Buffalo, and the Bills down close. First time they met a couple of weeks ago, Dallas won 21-15. Tonight the Bills lead it 6-0. Third and goal at the 3 for the Bills with 3 minutes 8 seconds left to play, and Buffalo leading Dallas 6-0. Incomplete. Adrian Hill got concerned about his feet. Todd Collins lobbed the pass to him. Couldn't hang on.
Todd Collins had a pretty good idea down there. As you start, you're down there in the goal line, third down, and you start to get rushed. You get flushed out, then you have that option. You create an option for yourself, a pass or run.
Steve Christie with Steve Tasker holding. Last time they botched the snap from center. This time they don't. And it's 9-0 Buffalo. With 2 minutes and 41 seconds left to play in the American Bowl of '95, Buffalo leads at 9-0.
I said at halftime, I never thought the Raiders should have left. I always thought of them as the Oakland Raiders. And even when they were in Los Angeles, it was just hard. I don't know that I ever said it. I didn't call them Oakland. I just called them the Raiders. And then when I heard they were coming back, it was just something that the whole city and everyone needed, and it's kind of where they belong.
Ed Hervey on the return for the Cowboys. 2.5 minutes left to play. Today's game produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. 9-0 Buffalo.
Troy Aikman is trying to send in a play that can get 9 points. You can get 8 points now. Remember the rule they put in last year? The 2-point is available, but that's still making short one. So they need 2 scores here in a 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Jason Garrett screen pass to Sherman Williams. The NFL calendar, some important dates, and believe me, if you're trying to make one of these teams, these are important dates. August the 22nd, Teams have to be down to 60 with the exception of Carolina and Jacksonville. In the 27, they cut down to 53. The 28th, the clubs established their practice squad of 5. And October the 10th, all the trading ends.
The reason they give Carolina and Jacksonville an extra 5 is that they can cut below that. They'll probably cut below 60, but then if you cut below 60, say they cut to 57, then they could pick up 8 guys on waivers. So even though you cut to 60, then you want to cut below that, because if you pick up anyone on waivers, then you have to make a place for them too.
Jason Garrett. 1st and 10, Dallas at their own 40. Garrett back to throw it. Outside to Bjornsson, who gets just across the 50.
The Cowboys are going with their no huddle. They're going to get caught here with a 2-minute warning, but this is good practice for them too.
2 minutes left. 9-0 Buffalo. Well, look who's here tonight. Monica Seles. 55,000 plus people here. And they just put her up on the big scoreboard.
Yep, and she deserves it.
Yes, she does. Playing in a tournament here in preparation for the U.S. Open. It's good to see a smile. Good to see her.
Looked like she got embarrassed, though.
Yeah.
She had that way she threw her hair over her face.
Ed Hervey, the intended receiver from Jason Garrett, who got pretty good little massage.
Yeah, well, what happens is you're going to see Mark Pike come in here, number 94, and he just levels Jason Garrett. You know, Pike is one of the best big special teams guys. I mean, he makes this Buffalo Bill team because of his special teams. He was a linebacker and a defensive lineman, but he's one of the best special teams players in the league.
Garrett gives to Sherman Williams. Sherman Williams gets to the Buffalo 40. Stopped by Chris Green. First and 10, Cowboys. They go quickly. Pass to Billy Davis. Again, John, we're going to pick the Miller Lite player of the game, and let's give it to the record crowd that showed up tonight, and to the welcome that we've received.
Yeah,
from the city of Toronto.
I think they deserve it. I mean, these fans, you know, you go to a place and you expect the hometown fans that they really love their team, but you come to a place like Toronto, and I know we're close to Buffalo, but there's no hometown fans, and these people were great. I mean, they come out here and they supported the game, sell out, the biggest crowd. They're into every play, and even though there hasn't been much scoring, this crowd has really been a lively crowd.
And just part of that enthusiasm for football that we were talking about at the beginning of the evening.
Well, you know what they're trying out for? I mean, there's players down there, you know, trying out to make a football team, and there's also a city and a bunch of fans trying out to get an NFL team here in Toronto.
This would certainly be a logical choice. Garrett deep for Hervey. Just overthrown.
Oh, he had him too. Remember on Thanksgiving Day against the Green Bay Packers when Jason Garrett started and played that game, that second half comeback?
Never forget it.
He was throwing those deep passes to Alvin Harper. And that was what his wife told him. His wife told him, just throw deep to Alvin and let him catch it, throw it up there. And that was the same kind of pass he did. He just threw one deep out there. And if he doesn't leave his feet there and just runs right through it, that ball could have been a touchdown.
Ed Hervey with the speed that a wide receiver needs. And Jason Garrett.
the Cowboys have to be thinking here is get a quick score, and then an onside kick, and then get another score.
A minute and 1 second left. Garrett gets out of bounds at the 15. Jumped over the signs.
I was just going to say, if I were the Cowboys right now, I'd kick a field goal and then go for an onside kick, because they need 2 scores. So you go and get 3 now and then go back for a touchdown, because you're in field goal position here. And if you take all your time trying to get a touchdown, then the game's going to be over. I'd kick the field goal, then an onside kick, or maybe take 1 shot at the end zone, then kick a field goal, then go the onside kick and try and get the ball back, because that's the only way you can win the game.
It's ironic that there's never been a touchdown scored here at the SkyDome. This is the second game that's been played here. But no touchdowns in the first one, no touchdowns in this one.
And that's with the top on or with the top off, right?
As far as I know. I don't know if Spider was here for the first one or not.
Yeah, because when we started off, I thought maybe they weren't scoring because it was too close. There was smoke and stuff in here because they had fireworks before the game. I can't understand that. They have fireworks inside. So I knew we had to open that roof to let that smoke from the fireworks out. Then I thought maybe we'd get some scoring. There's a lot of communication going on now. Ernie talking to Troy. Troy saying, huh? Troy talking to Jason. Cornelius Bennett blowing bubbles, doesn't care.
Troy's out on the field.
Cornelius Bennett had about 4 things going on at once. He was talking, blowing a bubble, and playing a guitar and stomping his feet all at one time. That's an athlete.
Yep.
So some guys can do 1, maybe 2. Well, you can get 4 things going at once. Here's something. An athlete there. That's what they call styling.
Here's Jason Garrett. Scramble forward. Bjornsson looked like it might be intercepted for a moment, and Bjornsson came up with it. 2nd and 6.
I still think they ought to kick a field goal.
I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think they're listening to me.
Here's Garrett. Chased again and scampers out of bounds again.
Well, 27 now, I'd kick the field goal then.
Well, I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, but you got to think in terms of 2 scores. You just can't stand here and just play like this. Because at least you win. I mean, you may not get the onside kick, but at least you want the chance to take the onside kick.
Giving yourself a chance. Ernie Zampese.
Ernie got all his pens in his hands and drinks. And
Emmitt Smith ready to make the trip home.
Emmitt Smith looks like he's ready to play this year.
Yeah, he
talk
does.
about that he's beat up and that. He doesn't look like a beat up running back to me.
Garrett back to throw. Randy Gatson. Fourth and short. How's Barry Switzer, of course.
4th down, I'd still kick the field goal and try the onside kick.
Don't tell me that.
No, it's a game. I mean, you're still playing to win. I mean, that's the only chance you have to win. They say, why? You know, it's a preseason guy. I know it, but it's still a game. You came to play.
Well, the handoff is inside to Sherman Williams. Cowboys signaling touchdown, and now the officials do also.
Now we can get the onside kick.
Now we'll try the onside kick.
Now we can try it.
19 seconds left to play.
Garrett calls it here, 4th down. Look at the sweat dripping off. Sherman Williams just makes a whole. See, he starts to that right and gets everything flowing that way, and then makes a good cutback against it.
That's what Emmitt Smith does so well. Gets into the hole and then makes the cut.
And then slides. Usually the same way. Start to the right and cut to the left. Now we're going to have some fun here with an onside kick.
Well, you've been wishing.
And now by doing, yeah. I mean, you kind of had a little kind of boring game and stuff. At least let's give it a good finish. Look at this. Now Jerry Jones is in there talking to Troy. Or Troy Aikman. He got guys talking. Ernie's talking in one ear. Jerry Jones is talking in the other ear.
Who would you listen to?
I'd listen to Ernie. They got to get some plays. He already got his contract.
That's right.
He doesn't need the contract. You know, what's going to happen is the Cowboys are over there huddling up in the sideline. They're talking about their onside kick. The Buffalo Bills are in what they call an onside prevent. They're going to have all their guys up. Now remember, the ball has to go 10 yards before the kicking team can touch it. But if it goes out of bounds, they get to kick it over again. If it goes out of bounds a second time, then the Bills would get the ball where it is.
Well, John Baker, the barefoot kicker, will try that onside.
Look at this.
kick.
There's a whole gaggle of guys over here. I think he's going to kick it over to that side. Look at the whole gaggle.
I think he might.
There's a whole bunch, and there's not many of them over here on this side. He'd probably kick it right here.
They need Spider Dan right now. The Bills field it and down it.
May lightning strike, my pals, if we aren't the best of friends on and off the camera.
On Monday, August the 28th, join Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jimmy Johnson, James Brown, and special guest stars Hootie and the Blowfish for an outrageous look at the 1995 NFL season. It's the Fox NFL Primetime Review Special beginning at 9/8 Central right here on Fox.
Talking about blowfish. What's that stuff flying out here? What is this stuff here?
Hootie's out there.
What is that? Where'd that come from?
Look what you let in.
I know it. I'm glad. I'm glad I opened that roof. I'm glad we got our onside kick, too.
Yep. Well, you came out. Monica Seles over getting Troy Aikman's autograph, or vice versa. I'm not sure.
No, she's getting Troy Aikman's autograph. She got a cap from Troy Aikman earlier.
Yep.
Jerry Jones is in there.
American Bowl of 95 won by Buffalo 9-7. James Brown will be back to bring you up to date on all the scores and the highlights of this game.
So back here at SkyDome, the end of the American Bowl finds the Buffalo Bills having evened up the preseason slate with the Dallas Cowboys, winning it by the score of 9-7. And indeed, the Buffalo Bills defense looked very aggressive under new defensive coordinator Wade Phillips. Emmitt Smith's hamstring held up well. So for Pam Oliver, Pat Summerall, John Madden, Jimmy Johnson, and Terry Bradshaw, I'm James Brown. Good night from Toronto.